All right, everybody. So we've been learning a lot about algebra and how to solve for that missing number in equations. And so today we're going to show how we can solve for missing candy costs, which are going to be represented by variables like y and x. And we're going to do that using the skills that we've learned from the last few days. So I'm going to go here to the candy game, and I'm going to click on level 1. So now if you can see on my screen, let me make this a little bit bigger for you. It says, solve each challenge and figure out how much each of the candies costs. You're going to put these candies in the corresponding jars. So for example, in this first problem, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candies, and they add up to 36 cents. So how much does each candy cost if there's 6 of them and they cost 36 cents total? Well, we're going to create an equation for that. And so right now I'm on level 1. That was the first level I clicked on. So I'm going to put right here in black, level 1 on my paper. And I'm going to create an equation to figure out what the green candies cost. And since it's the green candies, I'm going to do this in green. So my equation is going to be 6, which is the number of candies, multiplied by the cost of each green candy. So x represents cost of each candy. And then that's going to equal 36, which is the total cost. All right, so I'm going to take my number of candies that I have, multiply it by the cost of each candy, and that's going to give me my total cost. So what we're trying to find here is what? What are we trying to find? We're trying to find what the cost of that missing candy is. All right, so what is the cost of those green candies? Well, we know from yesterday how we can solve an equation like this. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to rewrite my equation here. 6x equals 36. Well, to isolate that variable and figure out what it is, I need to do the opposite of multiplication here, which would be to divide by 6 instead of multiply by 6. So I divide 6x by 6. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. And so we see here, 6 and 6 cancel out, or 6 divided by 6 would just give me 1. And then I still have my x here. And then the other side, we have 36 divided by 6. That gives me 6. So 1x, or simply just x, equals 6. And so the cost of the missing candies here would be 6 cents. And so I click on the 6 cents jar, and it adds the candy to that jar. All right, so that was my first problem there. Now let's go ahead and do another. So this time I have 2 pieces of candy, and they equal 26 cents total. And this time it's in yellow, so I'm going to do it in yellow, okay? Here we go. How many pieces of candy do I have? I have 2. What can I use to represent the missing cost of them? I could use x. What are they equal in total? 26 cents. So here's my equation. One more time, it's the number of candies I'm working with here, the missing cost of each, and then the total cost. And again, I can just solve by getting that x by itself. So here, if I'm multiplying by 2, I can get x by itself by dividing by 2. That's going to cancel out these 2's. And then what I have to do to one side, I have to do to the other. So x equals 13 cents. All right, in other words, the missing candy cost is 13 cents. And now I know that, so I can just put that right here in the 13 cents jar and move on to the next problem. All right, I got one more problem for level 1. Here we go. Let's get it figured out. So first off, how many candies do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 total candies. That's what I start off writing, 10. And then I'm trying to figure out how much each of those candies cost. Since they're in green color, I'm going to put X for the missing candy cost, and then it's going to equal how much in total. Well, it tells me right there that it equals $2.90 in total. So again, to get that X by itself, to figure out that missing candy cost for each of them, I need to do the opposite of multiply by 10 because there's 10 pieces of candy, and I'm going to divide by 10 to figure out how much each of those pieces is worth. So here, 10 divided by 10 cancels out. Then I have X equals, and then $2.90 divided by 10. Well, that's going to give me 29 cents. All right, whether you want to write it as the dollar amount, meaning it comes after the decimal, or if you want to write it simply as just cents, you can do that as well. And now I'm going to look for 29 cents here and put them right in the jar. All right, so we've got that first part down. Now this is where the two-step equations come into play. So now we have the cost of those green pieces. We found out that these green pieces here are 6 cents, it tells us. And so now we're going to need to do a two-step equation, all right? So this is where it might get a little tricky, but I promise if you've been working with us very well the last few days, then this should make sense. So here, I know that it's going to equal 59 cents. That's the total cost of the candy. So again, it's going to equal 59 cents. And now what's going to come on this side of the equation depends on what candies I'm looking at. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green candies. Okay, so I'm going to do this in green here. I have 7 green candies. And does it tell me how much each of those candies is worth? Oh, it does. It says that there's 6. All right, so 7 multiplied by the 6-cent candies. That's going to give me the cost of those green candies, which is going to be 42. But I still need to fill in what comes next to the 7 times 6. And that's going to be the cost of our missing orange candy. All right, do you see how we're trying to find the cost of that orange candy there? And so I need to add X, which again is going to represent cost of the orange candy for each of them. So here we go, plus X. And notice it's just 1X because there's only one piece of candy that's listed on my screen. So here we go, 42 plus X equals 59 cents. That's my equation here. And so here, I am going to try to get X by itself, which means instead of adding it to 42, we are instead going to subtract 42 from both sides. Right? Because that's what we do to figure out what that cost of the missing orange candy is. We subtract the 42 we already know because the green candy is 42. So that's going to cancel these out over here, leaving us with just X on this side. And then on the right side, 59 minus 42, that gives us 17 cents. All right, let's go ahead and see if that works. Well, we know it works if we plug it into the equation because 42 plus 17 does equal 59, but let's just make sure by putting it in the jar